Zyra sat alone in her small apartment on Haven 7. The space station was quiet tonight, floating in the dark sky. She could see stars through her window, glowing like frozen lights. Everything looked peaceful. But her mind was not. Rent was too high, and her job paid too little. She had no choice. She opened her datapad and began to write an ad. Roommate needed, clean, quiet, non-human preferred. Must respect privacy. She looked at the words, then she pressed the send button. The ad went out to the whole station. Within minutes, replies started to come. A few Slan asked strange questions. One grill offered to pay in crystals. Zyra sighed. Nothing looked right. Then the door buzzed. She looked at the screen, and her eyes widened. A human stood outside her door. He was young, maybe early 20s. Brown hair, tired eyes, a soft smile on his face. Zyra didn't move. Why would a human be here? Humans were rare, even banned from most space stations. Haven 7 was supposed to be a no-human zone. She tapped the voice button. Yes? She asked. Hi, the boy said. I saw your ad. I'm Alex. You're human. She replied slowly. I am, he said. But I'm clean, quiet, and I really need a place. Zyra didn't open the door right away. Her mind raced with fear. Humans were known to be dangerous. Violent, unpredictable. They had caused many wars. Why would she let one into her home? But something about his voice made her pause. He sounded tired, not dangerous. Lonely, not violent. Maybe like her. She took a deep breath and opened the door. Alex stepped in carefully. He looked around the room and smiled. It's cozy. He said, Why are you on Haven 7? Zyra asked, her eyes sharp. Humans need special papers to be here. Alex looked nervous. He scratched his head and said, I had some help. I can pay rent. I promise. I won't cause trouble, Zyra. Didn't fully trust him, but she needed money, and maybe company? She nodded slowly. You can stay, she said, for now. Alex thanked her and put down his small bag. He only had one. No fancy tech, no weapons. Just a worn jacket, some clothes, and a datapad. They shared a quiet meal. Zyra asked. No more questions, but she watched him closely. He ate politely, smiled often, but said very little. That night, Zyra couldn't sleep. Something felt strange. She heard a low humming sound from the other room. It was soft, but not normal. She walked into the living area and saw a light. Alex's bag was glowing, not bright, but enough to see in the dark. Zyra stepped closer, her heart pounding. What was inside that bag? She looked around. Alex was still in his room, fast asleep. She knelt down and opened the zipper. Just a little, inside. Something moved. It was not alive, but not fully machined either. A small metal orb, glowing blue. It made a soft pulsing sound. Like a heart, Zyra froze. What was this? Why would a human carry something like this? Before she could touch it, a voice whispered behind her. You shouldn't be near that. Zyra turned around fast. Alex was standing in the dark. His eyes were calm, but serious. What is this? She asked. Standing up slowly, Alex looked at the orb, then at her. It's complicated, he said. You lied, Zyra said. You're hiding something. Alex didn't argue. He simply nodded. I didn't come here to hurt anyone, he said. I came here because I had no choice. I'm not the only one looking for a home. Zyra stared at him, unsure if she should believe him. Something deep in her said he was telling the truth, but the fear didn't go away. What is that orb? She asked again. Alex looked at it and whispered, It's the reason they're hunting me. Zyra's eyes widened. Who's hunting you? He didn't answer. Instead, he walked back to his room, leaving Zyra alone with 1,000 questions outside. The apartment window, a shadow moved in space. A ship, silent and dark, watched from afar. Zyra didn't sleep that night. She sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the wall. Her ears kept listening, waiting for any sound from the next room. Alex had gone quiet, but the silence felt heavy, like something was pressing down on her. Mind the image of the glowing orb wouldn't leave her thoughts. It wasn't just tech, it was something more. Something alive, and Alex had said. They were hunting him. Who was they? And what did they want from a human? Zyra stood up and walked toward the kitchen. She needed water, or maybe something stronger, as she opened the cooling unit. She saw movement in the corner of her eye. Alex was sitting on the couch. He looked different now, not weak, not tired. He was alert, focused, watching the door like a soldier on guard. "I didn't hear you come in," Zyra said softly. "I couldn't sleep either," Alex replied, his voice. "They're close." Zyra's hands froze. "Who?" "The ones who made that orb," he said. "They're not from your world." "They're not from mine either." Zyra sat across from him. She wanted answers. But she also wanted the truth. Real truth. Not the safe kind. "You lied to me." She said. "You said you were just looking for a place to stay." "I am," he said. "But I didn't say I was normal." Zyra blinked. "What are you then?" Alex looked down at his hands. He slowly removed the glove from his right hand. Zyra gasped. His skin glowed faintly under the surface. Like tiny stars were moving through his veins. It wasn't human, but it wasn't alien either. "I'm a test," he said quietly. "An experiment." Zyra's eyes narrowed. "By who?" Alex pointed up, toward the stars, by a group called the Nolian. "They live far outside known space. They find young species like mine and modify them." Zyra's voice dropped to a whisper. "Why would they do that?" "To build the perfect hybrid," he said. "Not just human, not just alien, but something in between." Now Zyra understood the fear in his eyes. The orb wasn't just a machine. It was connected to Alex, maybe even part of him. "Are you dangerous?" she asked. Alex didn't answer right away. Then he said, "I don't want to be." Before she could speak again, the lights in the apartment flickered, then went dark. Emergency lights turned on. Painting the room red, a warning alarm echoed. Through the hallway, someone had entered the station without clearance. Alex stood fast. "They're here," he whispered. "Who?" Zyra said, pulling out a small plasma knife. "They can smell the orb," Alex said. "They always find it." Suddenly, the door shook. Not like someone knocking, but something hitting it hard. Bam! 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 Zyra and Alex backed into the requite. And Alex backed into the requite. And Ruby Kiss has the luxury F6. And Lives de Ries long-lasting color. You have seen 6/8 my resace elsewise. Not like some do we, you see. Eth Gress, Syllab. Walia Sev, desistele skade. My resell my resect, that, it sees it, by bad with it, with we resawide. I be with as it and of it on and sadip code we haven't to me said it to get to sisik get to sit to lit it to sick get to gly by to sit it is to bit to kalask it with it and it the stit a big this ski that is get it to bit because it's just step that kitchen. She turned on a silent defense grid around the room. It wouldn't hold for long, but maybe it would buy them a few minutes. The door cracked open slightly. A long metal hand reached through. Its fingers were sharp, too long, too thin, not a creature Zyra had ever seen. Not from any known race. Alex raised his hand, and the orb inside his bag began to glow again. Zyra felt the air around her shift heavy, electric, like before a lightning storm. "What are you doing?" she asked. "I didn't ask for this power," Alex said, "but I'll use it to survive." He closed his eyes. The orb floated into the air on its own. It spun fast, then faster. The room filled with blue light. The metal hand screamed not. With a voice but a signal, Zyra felt it in her head, like pain and fear mixed together. Then the hand pulled back, the door slammed shut again. Silence returned. Zyra stood frozen. She looked at Alex, his body shook, but he was still standing. "You can control it?" She asked. "Only when I'm scared enough," he said, half smiling, half broken. Zero walked to the window and looked out. In the dark sky, a strange ship floated just outside the station. Black, silent, not responding to any beacon, she turned. To Alex, "You can't stay here." "I know," he said, "but I can't run alone anymore." Zira didn't trust him fully, but she had seen the enemy now, and something told her. This human might be the only one who could stop them. She nodded once. "Then we leave at first light." As the emergency lights faded and the station returned to normal, neither of them noticed the tiny drone watching from the ceiling corner. It blinked once, then vanished. The next morning, Zero woke to silence, not peace. Not calm, a silence that felt wrong, like the station itself was holding its breath. Alex was already awake, standing by the window. His eyes were fixed on the stars. The strange black ship was still there, not moving, not blinking. It floated like a dead thing, quiet, cold, and watching. "They haven't left," he said. "Without turning, they won't," Zyra replied, tying her hair back. "They want you, or the orb, or..." Both. Zyra grabbed her jacket. It had a hidden scanner in the sleeve. If anyone or anything got near them, she'd know. "We need to leave Haven 7, she said. "There's a supply ship leaving in 6 hours. We'll sneak aboard." Alex nodded, but his hands were shaking. He had barely controlled the orb last night. He wasn't sure if he could do it again. What scared him more was that the orb had reacted on its own. Zira opened the door and peeked into the hallway. It was empty, but too quiet. Lights flickered above another power issue, or something more. They walked fast but careful. Alex kept his hood up. Zyra scanned every corner. Halfway to the lower level, her scanner buzzed. 3 signals. Not human, not any known species. "Not even on the Haven 7 records." "They're here," Zira whispered. Pulling Alex into a service tunnel, they moved through the dark passage. Ducking under old pipes and wires, the air smelled like rust and heat behind them. Faint footsteps echoed, but not from boots. It was like metal scraping on metal. Zyra's heart pounded. She turned a corner and froze. A tall figure stood ahead, blocking the way. Its body was silver, smooth, no face, just a glowing red circle where eyes should be. Thin arms reached toward her, long fingers opening like sharp tools. Alex stepped forward without thinking. The orb in his bag pulsed once. Blue light flashed. The creature screeched, not loud, but inside their minds. A scream that stabbed their thoughts like needles. Zyra dropped to one knee, holding her head. Alex tried to stay standing, but the pain pushed him back. The orb floated out of the bag again. Spinning faster this time, the metal creature reached toward it, not to destroy it, but to take it. Zyra crawled to the side panel and hit a switch. A hidden vent popped open behind them. "Go," she shouted. "Crawl through." Alex didn't argue. He grabbed the orb midair, and the pain stopped. The creature paused, confused, then roared in static. They crawled through the vent, the air. Hot and dry, behind them, claws scratched the metal walls. Finally, they dropped into an old cargo bay. It was empty except for broken crates and tools. Zyra pulled Alex behind a container. "We need to find a way off this station," she said. Breathing hard, Alex looked at the orb in his hand. "I think it called them." "What?" "When it lights up," he said, "it sends out some kind of signal. I didn't mean to activate it last night." Zyra stared at him. "Then we need to shut it down." "I don't know how," he said. "It's part of me now." Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the bay. One of the walls bent inward. The metal creature was forcing its way in. Zyra looked around quickly. There was an old transport pod in the corner, dusty. Scratched, but maybe still working? "Come on," she said, grabbing Alex's hand. They ran to the pod and climbed inside. Zyra hit the activation screen. "Please work," she muttered. The engine hummed weakly, then powered on. Alex held the orb close, trying to calm it. The creature burst into the bay, its eyes glowing brighter. It moved faster now, learning, adapting. It leaped toward the pod just as Zyra hit launch. The pod shook violently as it detached from the station. They spun into open space. The stars blurred as the pod's engine burned bright. Zyra looked back. The creature stood at the edge of Haven 7's docking ring, watching, unmoving. Alex finally breathed. "I thought we were going to die. We still might," Zyra said. "Checking the fuel gauge, this thing won't take us far." "Then where are we going?" Zyra looked at him. "To someone who can help," she said. "My old friend. She works with off-grid AI tech, if anyone can understand that." "Orb. It's her." Alex nodded slowly. "I hope she's not like you," Zyra raised an eyebrow. "Why?" "Because you trust too easily," he said with a weak smile. "And that might get you killed." Zyra smirked back. "Or it might save your life." Behind them, deep in Haven 7, a red light blinked. The creature wasn't alone. Others were. Waking asterisk, the escape pod landed hard on a dry, cracked moon. Dust exploded around the ship like smoke. Inside, Zyra and Alex sat in silence, both breathing heavily. Outside the window, nothing moved, no stars, no ships, just rocks and silence. "This doesn't look like a tech lab," Alex said quietly. "It's not," Zyra replied. "But we had to hide first." She stepped out onto the dry ground, her boots crunching on ancient stone. The moon had no name, just a code, X47, Delta. No one lived here anymore, except maybe one. Zyra pulled a small crystal from her belt and crushed it in her hand. It blinked once, a silent signal. "Wait," she said. An hour passed, then a shadow appeared on the horizon. A small hovercraft approached, silent but fast. It stopped 10 feet away from them, and the hatch opened. A tall woman stepped out. Her hair shaved on one side. Her eyes were silver. "Artificial Zyra," she said, smiling, still alive. I see Zyra smiled back. But her voice was firm. "Hello, Vexa." Alex stayed close to Zyra. He didn't trust this woman. Something about her felt empty. "This is Alex," Zyra said. "He's the one I told you about." Vexa looked at Alex with interest. Her silver eyes scanned him like a machine. Then she looked at the bag on his shoulder. "The orb," she whispered. "You actually found one?" Alex stepped back. "I didn't find it," he said. "It found me." Vexa laughed softly. "Even better," she said. "Come, let's get inside." They rode across the moon in silence. The lab was underground, hidden beneath broken rock. Doors opened with old creaks, but the tech inside was advanced for a dead world. Vexa guided them through a dark hall. Screens lined the walls, showing data Zyra couldn't read. Her stomach tightened. Something felt wrong. "I don't trust her," Alex whispered. "You don't have to," Zyra whispered back. "But we need answers." In the center of the lab was a chamber of glass and steel. Alex placed the orb on a scanner pad. It floated again, humming. Softly, Vexa's hands moved fast, typing commands into a console. She didn't blink. She didn't breathe. She was too focused. "What are you doing?" Zyra asked, running a scan. Vexa replied, "But this is more than a weapon." Alex stepped forward. "It's alive," he said. "Sometimes it talks to me in dreams." Vexa nodded slowly. "That's not a surprise," she said. "It's part AI, part neural organic tech. It can learn, and it's learning you." Then her voice changed. It also carries something else. Zyra leaned in. What? Vex's eyes flickered. A key, she whispered. A master code that could open the gates to Nullian space. Zyra froze. She had heard stories of Nullian gates, doors to hidden regions where entire fleets had vanished, and now one sat. Inside this human, you're not just a hybrid, Vexa said to Alex, you're a map. Suddenly, doors behind them slammed shut. Zyra turned fast, pulling her blade. What is this? She demanded. Vexa smiled coldly. You brought me the future, Zyra. Did you really think I wouldn't keep it? Alex's heart raced. You tricked us, he whispered. Vexa walked toward the scanner. Her hands glowed now, charged. With neural energy, she reached for the orb, but it pulsed again, rejecting her touch. Vexa screamed, electricity burning her fingers. Alex ran to the glass and slammed it with his fist. Let me out, he yelled. Zyra was already at the control panel. But Vex's override was strong, stronger than she expected. I trusted you, Zyra shouted. That was your mistake, Vexa said. You left me behind 10 years ago. Now I leave you behind. Gas filled the room. Alex dropped to one knee, coughing. Zyra slammed her fist against the console, then pulled a hidden spike from her boot. She stabbed it into the control unit. Sparks flew everywhere. Doors burst open. Alarms blared. Zyra kicked the glass chamber. Breaking the seal, she grabbed Alex and pulled him out. He was weak, but still conscious. Behind them, Vexa screamed, Do you know what you've just done? Zyra turned once. I just chose him over you. They ran through the hallway as fire spread behind them. Ceiling panels fell. Machines sparked and died. At the end of the tunnel, Zyra saw a service hatch. She slammed it open, pulled Alex through. They crawled into the cold surface winds of the moon. Behind them, the lab exploded in blue light. They had survived again, but now Zyra had betrayed someone she once called sister. Alex looked up at her with wide eyes. Why'd you save? Me? He asked. She didn't answer right away. Then she said, Because I've already lost too many people. Above them, in the dark sky, 3 more ships appeared. Black, silent, and watching. They weren't done running yet. The cold wind of the moon stung Zyra's skin as she stared at the sky. 3 dark ships floated above them, silent and still. They didn't fire, they didn't move, but they were watching. Alex leaned against a broken pillar, still weak from the gas. His skin was pale, and the orb inside his bag had gone dim. But Zyra noticed something else. His veins glowed faintly again, just like the night she first saw the orb. They're waiting, Alex said softly. They know we're not going far. Zyra nodded. We don't need far, she replied. We need deep. She tapped her wrist panel and scanned the area. There was something below them. A heat signature, small, hidden, and buried under the surface. Zyra remembered a rumor that Vex's lab wasn't the first. Come on, she said, pulling Alex up. There's one more place I haven't been. They moved across the rocky surface, climbing over black cliffs and dust-covered ruins. Finally, Zyra found a hatch, half buried under moonrock. It had no markings, no name, just a worn metal plate. She pressed her palm to the surface. Nothing happened. Alex stepped forward and placed his hand on it too. The metal glowed, then hissed open. Zyra raised an eyebrow. You're the key, she muttered. Alex didn't answer, but his eyes said he was thinking the same. They entered a dark tunnel, lit only by blue strips on the wall. The deeper they walked, the more alien it felt. Not built by humans, not even Zyra's kind. This place felt ancient. Finally, they reached a door covered in strange symbols. The orb in Alex's bag started to vibrate again. It floated out without being touched and flew into a round slot on the wall. The door opened. Inside was a giant room filled with tanks, Each tank held a figure floating inside. Some human, some alien, some. Both Zyra gasped. There were dozens of them. "What is this place?" she whispered. Alex walked slowly to one of the tanks. Inside was a human girl. Her skin pale, her body thin, but her eyes were open, glowing. She was alive. This was a breeding lab, Alex said, voice shaking. They used humans and aliens. To build hybrids like me, Zyra stepped back. "Vexa didn't create you," she said. "She just found you." Alex nodded. "I wasn't the first," he said, "but I might be the last." Suddenly, lights turned on above them. Soft music played, old Earth music, a piano tune. A voice echoed from hidden speakers. "Welcome, Subject 13, it said. "We've been expecting your return." Alex froze. I've never been here before," he whispered. "You were born here," the voice replied. "Your blood carries the final piece." Zyra looked at the tanks again. Some were empty, cracked, others still active. Each one had a number on the side. She walked to the last one. It read, "Number 12 failed." Then she turned to Alex. "You're number 13, she said. He nodded slowly. "And I think they want me to finish what they started." A platform rose from the center of the lab. A hologram appeared, a tall figure in black armor. Not alive, not fully digital, something in between. "Subject 13, it said. "You carry the beacon, come forward and activate the gate." Zyra pulled her weapon. "We're not doing anything," she said. The hologram didn't move. "You cannot escape your design." It said, "The orb will awaken soon. When it does, the others will come." Alex looked at Zyra. "Maybe this was never about hiding," he said. "Maybe I'm not meant to run." Zyra shook her head. "No," she said. "You're not a weapon. You're a person, no matter what they built you for." The orb glowed brightly now, floating higher. The tanks around them started to shake. The others, the failed hybrids, were waking up. Zyra stepped back. "We need to destroy this place," she said, "before they take control of you. But what if I can control them?" Alex asked. Zyra looked at him. "Then do it now," she said. Before they do, Alex closed his eyes. The orb flashed, the tanks stopped shaking. The hybrids inside fell still again. Alex raised his hand, not in fear, but in command. The orb floated to his chest and pressed against it. It sank in like light into water. Alex opened his eyes, and they were glowing white. Not painful, not broken, whole. The hologram blinked once. "Impossible," it said. "Subject 13 has achieved sync." Alex raised his voice, strong and calm. "I'm not your subject. I'm free." He turned to Zyra. "I know where the gate is now," he said, "and what they're trying to unlock." "What is it?" she asked. "A signal," he whispered, "from Earth." The air inside the ancient lab turned heavy. Machines pulsed, screens blinked, and deep under the floor, gears began to move. Alex stood at the center, the orb now fused with his chest. Like a glowing heart, he was no longer just a boy on the run. He was becoming something new, something that had never existed before. And the system could feel it. Zyra stepped closer, watching carefully. "Are you still you?" she asked. Alex looked at her with glowing eyes. "I think I'm more me than ever," he said. But the moment was short. Above them, the ships that had been watching were now moving. Black shadows circling the moon like vultures. "They know." "I synced," Alex said. "They're coming to either kill me or control me." Zyra checked her wrist panel. "There's a hidden comms beacon buried 2 levels down," she said. "If we can power it up, we can call the rebellion the rebellion." Alex asked. Zyra nodded. "There's more like me, people who left the council, who fight against the Noyan labs. They'll help us if we survive long enough to reach them." A loud rumble shook the floor. Warning lights flashed. Red. The old lab was waking up, and it wasn't happy. From the walls, mechanical arms reached out. Guard drones flew from their nests like angry wasps, but they didn't attack Alex. They circled him, as if waiting. Zyra pulled out her blade. But Alex raised his hand. "Wait," he said. He looked at the drones, and in a calm voice whispered, "Stand down," to Zyra's shock. The drones paused, then slowly floated to the ground, silent and still. "You're controlling the system," she whispered. Alex nodded. "I was made to be a weapon, but I can choose what I target." Another rumble, louder this time. Above them, the ships were landing. "We don't have time," Zyra said. She grabbed Alex's arm and pulled him toward a side tunnel. "We need to get to the comms room, now." They ran through the twisting corridors, past failed tanks and broken machines. Every step echoed through the ancient metal halls. But with each step, Alex moved faster. He didn't stumble anymore. He felt pulled, not by fear, but by purpose. Zyra opened a steel door, revealing a circular chamber. At its center was a tower, covered in dust, wires, and cracked screens. This was the beacon, the last line to call for help. Zyra ran to the controls. "Keep me covered," she said. "I'll need 1 minute to bring it online." Alex turned and faced the entrance. His chest pulsed with blue light, and just in time, the wall behind them exploded. 3 figures stepped through the smoke, tall, armored, faceless, Nolian enforcers. They moved like ghosts, fast and cold. Alex stepped forward. Raising both hands, the orb flared, and for the first time, he pushed. A wave of force shot from his chest like a pulse. The enforcers were thrown back into the wall, metal armor bending under the blast. Zyra didn't look up. The beacon was almost ready. More enemies poured in. Alex fought without touching them. His body moved with instinct. Energy flowed from him, in waves, pushing, breaking, warning. But he didn't kill. He only stopped them. "I have a signal," Zyra shouted. "I'm calling the rebels." The beacon lit up, a bright beam of light shooting into the sky. It passed through the moon's surface and into space. One of the ships above turned away, then another. "They heard us," she said. "There." Coming, Alex turned back to her. His chest dimmed, and he fell to one knee. Zyra caught him. "You did good," she whispered. "You did more than they ever could." From the smoke behind them, one enforcer crawled forward, broken but still alive. It looked up at Alex and said, "You've started something you cannot stop." Alex stood again. "Yes," he said. "It's called freedom." He looked at Zyra. "I'm not running anymore." Zyra smiled. "Then let's make a stand." Above the moon, a rebel fleet dropped out of hyperspace. Ships painted with wild colors and strange shapes. Fighters, survivors. They had heard the call. They were ready to fight, and deep in the enemy ship's control room, a new figure watched the battle unfold. Cloaked in shadow, wearing a black mask, it leaned forward and whispered, "Subject 13 has declared war." Smoke filled the sky above Moon X-47 Delta. Rebel ships flew like sparks through darkness, dodging fire from Nolian cruisers below. The surface trembled as more enemy forces landed. It had begun not just a battle, but a war of belief. Alex stood on the rocky ledge outside the old lab. His eyes still glowed faintly, but the orb had stopped pulsing. It was now fully part of him. He looked down at the valley below, where thousands moved. Machines, hybrids, soldiers, drones, all drawn by the signal he sent. Some wanted to destroy him. Others wanted to follow. Behind him, Zyra stood silent. Watching the sky, she wore rebel armor now, light but strong. Painted with her clan symbol, she had made her choice. Alex hadn't. "They'll keep coming," Zyra said quietly, "unless you stop the signal." "I know," Alex replied. "But it's not just a signal. It's a call, not just for war, but for something bigger." Zyra turned, Like what? Hope, he said. For every hybrid who is made like me, every broken child, every lost voice, I'm proof that they can be more than experiments. Zira stepped closer. But the cost is high, she said. You'll be hunted forever. I already was, Alex said. But now? I get to choose why. Suddenly, a sharp beep echoed in the distance. A drop pod slammed into the valley. It opened, not with soldiers, but with a masked figure, tall, silent. Its cloak dragged across the ground. It walked slowly through. Fire and ash, untouched. Every drone stopped. Every hybrid froze. They all felt it, a command, buried in their minds. The original creator, Zira, felt cold. That's the architect, she whispered. The one who designed the hybrids, who gave the Nullian the codes. Alex nodded slowly. I felt it when I synced with the orb. That's the voice that haunts us all. The architect raised its arm, and every hybrid turned toward Alex. Thousands, standing in silence, waiting. Zira raised her blaster. They're going to make you choose. I already did, Lex whispered. He stepped forward. Alone, his boots kicking up ash, the architect spoke. Voice deep and smooth like machines underwater. You are the final design. It said, return to your creators. Lead the others. Alex stood tall. No, he said, I'm not a design. I'm not a code. I'm a person. The architect tilted its head. Without us, you are nothing. Alex pointed to the crowd. Without me. They are nothing but weapons, but with choice, they are people too. The architect raised a hand, and pain shot through Alex's chest. The orb inside flickered, but Alex stayed standing. He looked at the hybrids. You don't have to obey, he shouted. You feel it, don't you? The fear, the confusion, the hope that means you're alive. One hybrid lowered its weapon, then another, and another. Zira watched in shock as the army began to shift. Some stepped away from the architect, some dropped to their knees. Some turned toward Alex. The architect's voice grew louder. You cannot break the code. Alex's eyes glowed brighter. I am the code, he said, and I'm rewriting it. He raised his hand. The orb flared for the last time, not as a weapon, but as a signal of freedom. The control network snapped, hybrids everywhere. Screamed not in pain, but in release. The chains were broken. The architect stumbled. Its systems overloaded. Its voice cracked like broken glass. You were never meant to be free, it hissed. Then maybe you should have made me weaker. Alex whispered. The ground beneath the architect cracked. Power surged from the orb. The architect vanished in a burst of white light. Silence fell. The battle ended. Not with fire, but with a choice. Later, as the dust settled, Zira sat with Alex on the edge of a cliff. Watching the stars return, they'll still come for you, she said. The council, the systems, the ones afraid of what you are. I'm ready, Alex said. They can come. Zira looked at him. So what now? Alex smiled. Now, we teach the others what it means to choose. Far. Above them, the galaxy turned slowly, and somewhere, across the stars, other hybrids looked up, feeling, for the first time, free.